Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's weird. The OBS thing wouldn't let me do the unlisted thing, so I had to go public for it to work. Not quite sure how that software works, but anyway, good to see everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, Moran, Rasto, Badir, how are you doing, guys? Well, we've had you guys complained that Globex is slow, and you get some nice trading tonight. You've got movement. No kidding. What's up, Dave? How you doing? Yeah, I think if you'd been up early, you would have definitely had a couple of decent trades. Oh, alrighty. Well, overnight inventory is a little bit long. Most of the trading is above yesterday's close. We have been going back and forth inside yesterday's range. Had a little look above and fail. But so far, you know, there was some news out earlier this morning. So that caused, good movement back and forth. And so there should be some decent trading. Today is month end. So tomorrow is the last trading day of the month. One thing that is interesting is the price spike that took us up over 6,900 is still being respected. We went underneath it and came back yesterday, and so far tonight, we have not been able to break that 6,900. Our low is 6,901. So interesting enough. So just look for back and forth trades, right? Manage your risk. Here is our market. The overnight point of control keeps going back and forth between 69.20 and 69.32. Now we had good distribution. So point of control is back up again. Some decent trading for everyone. Hey Raj, how are you? Yeah, VWAP's 69.26. So it's been nice back and forth. Um, I was doing a call when there was a look above and fail of 69.23, and then we caught the look below and fail of 69.12 for a couple of points, and it rotated all the way back up, back down. It's been decent trading, so let's see what happens next here. I guess Meta didn't do so well with their earnings, and Google did. Hey Manish, how are you? Okay. So yeah, I did the stream publicly today because YouTube wouldn't let me do it unlisted. So welcome to all the folks who are watching this morning who aren't in our room, and I would invite you to come join our room. Join us as our journey is to make regular people profitable in trading without the double talk, help people actually make and earn a living and keep their money. That would always be nice. It's one thing to make money, it's another thing to actually keep it. That's one of my big goals, is for our members to actually hold on to the money that they make. So looks like we got to look above and fail of 23 and a quarter. So let's see. If you take a little short at 21 and a half, 21 and a quarter, not the best trade location. I should have been in here, but we should get some rotation lower. Let's see if we can break that 21. Right, the sellers have shown themselves to be in the market now. They're right here. They were here. So you see that there was a seller before VWAP and then that moved down. So you can start setting up for the look above and fail. So let's see if we stay underneath 23 and a quarter, and especially if we break 21 and a quarter, right? We'll get some follow through. If we can't break it, then your risk isn't really that high, right? On a candle chart, what you do is you mark the close. You use a half-hour candle chart, mark the close. Well, so had I shorted here at 22, I'd be looking to scrub the trade. So your risk isn't really that big. This way you're not shorting and shorting and shorting, you know, and adding to it. You know right away that the trade's not going to work. So say I was short 22, 21 and 3/8 or whatever I was, right? As soon as it gets up over 22, just flatten, right? What was the giveaway? That it couldn't break this white line, right? So when it can't break this white line, that gives you a heads up that, you know what, your short's really not doing that well, right? So let's see if they sell into it again. We could always take the trade again. Or if we have consolidation here and we go and do this, we can take a long. Either way, you haven't really blown up your account and you haven't lost a lot of money. Right? Always better to know you're wrong quickly, right? So when you know you're wrong quickly, you can go and take steps to correct your business, right? So we have a seller at VWAP still, right? Looks like we've got a little rotation going here, right? Yeah, it's just, Johnny, you just don't want to, you want to use a half-hour candle chart, mark the close at 5 p.m. from the previous day. If you can separate out your sessions, I don't know if you guys are, if you can do that. Let's see if we can get back up over 24. Not yet. There's a seller. You can see that there's a seller right here. So if it's a little choppy and you take a couple of trades and they're not working for you, you can always just sit back and see, oh, okay, it's chopping around, maybe I'll wait, right? Much wider balance zone tonight, 12 to 23. Let's see, we had a seller at 24 before. Let's see if they're active again. Oh, it's starting to clean. There, see the seller's still there at 24, right? So if you know where the sellers are and you're long, don't you find that beneficial, right? See, look, every time we go offered at 24, it gets knocked down. So there is a seller here, right? If the market clears that level, there, see, look, let's see if we get a print. There we go. See if they can print the 24 halves. Boom, there's 24 half. Right, this time I got long at 23.50, and I'm selling some at 24.75, and I'm selling them all the way up, right? So finally, right, see, I looked to short that, it didn't work, right? So when you go to short it, and the short's not working, I'm long 23 and 3/8, right? And I've got 6 contracts left. Oh, I got 3 left. I'm flat. There you go. So there, it finally worked. Right? It's very easy to blow up accounts very quickly if you have no idea what you're doing. Right? That's why I like trading this. I just made like 8, 9 points, right? Just on this. So first I went to go short here, right? It couldn't take out 21. Flip to go long. There's a seller at 24. So when we come back up over 24, you buy a little and you put your sell orders out and sell, right? It's not rocket science, but it does take time to learn, right? It takes time to learn, and it takes time to learn how to execute it. You know why? Because it's a skill, right? It's a skill. Just because if any bozo could come along and make money, wouldn't you think everybody would be driving Rolls Royces and Bentleys, right? You have the skilled and you have the unskilled, right? The unskilled will always lose money, right? How is my stop? When I went long 23 and 3/8 on those contracts, my stop was right here. So I'm long here, stop, right? And as soon as I'm long, I put my sell orders out. I know that there's going to be competition at VWAP, right? So I want to be out of the trade by VWAP. The look below and fail is, yeah. Yeah, the look below and fail, that's my trade, right? That's the trade that I take all the time. It's the most common trade. Yeah. That's why I like trading back and forth, because your risk is very manageable, right? Risk on that trade isn't very much. The other thing I do, Zach, is if I go and say I buy 5 contracts here, right? Say I'm long 5 here, and it takes out the bottom of that candle, I'll automatically start cutting maybe 3 contracts. Right? So what I like to do is I like to have a stop and a warning level. So if I'm trading any kind of size, like say I'm long 5 or 6 here, right? As soon as it breaks 23 and a quarter, I know to start getting out of contracts, right? And then if it takes that out, I'm gone, right? Larger trader, if you're building a big position, you could use 21 as your out, build a position here, and then sell it into strength. There's a number of different ways you can go about it that matches the structure and the business of the market. The main thing is that you're trading with the business instead of fighting it, right? I tried to fight it here, no go, right? Because there was no reason to sell under 21. Once I established that, I knew that there was a seller at 24. So when it came back down and came again, I'm like, oh, you know what? We'll probably offer above this time because we flushed those sellers out, right? And that's how I like to trade, right? When I first woke up this morning and I was doing a coaching call before we started, and I looked at this and I was like, oh God, what the hell's happening? It took me a good 45 minutes to clue in and get a sense of what was going on. So I didn't trade. I just kind of sat and watched. I'm like, okay, where's the bid? Where's the offer? Then we did the balance zone. The balance zone's pretty big, right? Tonight it's like 10, 11 points because the range is big, right? You know, you got a big range, right? The low is 69.01, the high is 53 and 3/4. So it's a big range, right? Big ranges mean bigger profits, but they also mean bigger risk if you don't know how to manage risk. That's why I really, really like using balance because the balance tells you where the wholesalers are buying and selling and then when they're going to go distribute, right? And it's much easier to manage your expectations and your risk. Hopefully that makes sense. I mean, right now I like to say we're doing the VWAP shuffle, back and forth over VWAP. You can see the candles are getting a little smaller, right? Once the candles get a little smaller, business is getting slow. Hey, spectator, how's it going? Yeah, it'll probably be an inside day today. I mean, yesterday was a nice big range, so it wouldn't take much to just stay inside that range. 84 to 68.84 to 69.53. I think you guys can live off of that range. Well, we're starting to clear VWAP, looking for a seller now. See the sellers right there, right? Once you start paying attention to markets, it's amazing how much better your trading is going to be. You know, the only way you can pay attention to these details is to sit and watch, right? Because if you're always trying to make money in a trade, you're going to miss a lot of details because you're anxious and you're in that fight or flight mode. So what you want to do is you want to train yourself, right? So you react. See how we're getting above that seller and the seller's coming back in. It's going back and forth over that blue line. That tells you the kind of business that's going on, right? So business is a little slow right now. Make sense? Because we had that big up, big down. Now it takes a little bit of a breather. You guys follow with me? Hope so. Any questions? You guys are all very quiet this morning. Thanks, Zach. Ah, we were talking about this morning. So, Jerry, when VWAP, if you see how VWAP is nice and flat tonight, you can get away with it when it's flat. But if VWAP is doing this, don't do it. You only want to use VWAP if it's not moving too much, because then it's more like a fixed reference. But if you notice sometimes when volatility comes in, VWAP will start to curl like this or curl like this. Don't do it then. That's why I teach you guys to do the look below and fail using fixed references. You could get away with it now because it's nice and flat because it's slow, right? I used to do it a lot a couple of years ago when it was flat, but lately with the volatility, and what I try and do, I'm a huge believer in trading less, right? So what I try and do, Jerry, because you guys all overtrade, I try and keep you guys from trading. Because the more you guys trade, the more money you lose. You know what I mean? Like it's a common thing, right? The more you guys trade, the more money you lose. So I try and pull back on the gas so you guys trade less but keep more money. Does that kind of make sense? Because the more you guys trade, the more you lose money, the more you blow up your accounts, right? You never make money the more you trade. Not retail anyway, right? So I always try and keep you guys from over trading. Okay. Now we're clearing that 28 seller. 29 is going to be the next area of interest. And then here are your sellers on the way up. Yeah. See, the reason you want to use a fixed reference, well, now it's been flat now for hours, which is good. That's nothing wrong with that. Then you could use it. But you always want to use a fixed reference. Otherwise, you're in motion, and if the reference is in motion, it's kind of like riding a horse trying to shoot a moving target. It's going to be harder for you guys, right? Especially the unskilled traders are going to have a heck of a time with that. And then what happens with a lot of retail traders is as soon as they lose control of a situation, their emotions take control. You guys ever notice that? As soon as you guys lose control of a situation, now you get emotional. You get mad, you get angry, you get scared, all of that stuff. That's why I'm trying to teach you guys to have a set of ways you do business, and you only do business that way. This keeps you out of all of this emotional, right, psychology nonsense where you need Dr. Phil after you've blown up your account. Let's try and use trading psychology before you lose all your money. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? It wouldn't be nice to have a trading psychologist who keeps you from losing money instead of trying to do a post-mortem after you've blown up your account? That's the way it works in business. It doesn't really work in retail trading. Everybody wants to do trading psychology after they've lost their money. How about learn a little bit about the business before you lose your money so you don't have to rely so much on psychology? You can actually rely on knowledge and skill, right? That's why I'm really happy that Ray and Steve have developed this AI for our room, which keeps people from making stupid decisions because it doesn't give them bad information. 100% of retail traders are out there trading on information and knowledge that is wrong. All gaps fill. Well, I shorted and blew up my account because the gap didn't fill. Don't trade, trade without stops. Well, I blew up my account because I wasn't using stops and a big candle took out my account. So all of that information that you see on the Twitterverse and stuff like that, you see a lot of these guys, and even professional fund guys, they're telling people to short the market, short the S&P, and it's 39 all-time highs this year. Like, you know, so give people good information, teach them good, responsible business habits, and have them do repetition and do the reps, and then maybe they can make money and keep it and actually treat it like a job where you go to work every day, you make your money, and then you go home, right? So you don't make $1,000 and then at the end of the day you're down two, right? That's not good business, right? So let's see what happens when London opens now. It's tight and choppy. Let's see if we can hold VWAP. We're right in the middle of the overnight range too. I don't understand the sharing part. Do they think it's a kind of good behavior? Sharing. Sorry, Moran. I'm a little confused. Sharing. Yeah, we want you to use trading psychology intelligently before you lose all your money. Oh, sharing that they blew up their account. It's become, Moran, it's become a part of the fabric of trading society to glorify blowing up your account. I find it embarrassing. Um, but people like to do that and they like to commiserate. And I think it's all a part of the fact that we train traders to be losers and we celebrate losing instead of celebrating discipline, control, self-control, good business habits. That stuff's not celebrated, right? In retail trading, what's celebrated is, FOMOing all my money into a trade, blowing up, and then crying and whining about it, and then having everybody pat me on the head and say, "Oh, good boy." It's pretty brutal. Oh, cool. You qualified for the Ninja Trader Futures competition. Great. Good stuff, Zach. Hey, look, if you need any help, give me a DM. I'm on the Ninja Trader website as like one of their authorized teachers, so if you need anything, let me know. Like if you want to do a couple of one-on-ones or anything to prepare for it, let me know. Although it sounds like you're doing great. It's wonderful. Yeah. Let me know. Good stuff. Yeah, if you want to do a one-on-one or something like that to help prepare, if you need anything, let me know. No charge. Right. Just want somebody from the room to do well. That'd be great. Oh, okay, and back down to 23. Getting hung up at VWAP. I think the market has taken a coffee break. Let's see. What time is it in China? It's afternoon? Coffee break on the London Open. Point of control moved down again. It's moving around a lot tonight. I'll just wait for your setup. It'll come around. And get all the Apple and Microsoft tonight, right? After the close. The algos are actually pretty decent. Pretty decent. Microsoft was yesterday? Oh, Amazon and Apple. Thanks, Zach. All right. Back down under 23. Okay. Hmm. I'll wait for the next 1 minute candle to open. If the next 1 minute candle opens and stays above 20, now, see? That's why we wait, right? I always have my whole thing with trading is I always get in way too early because I was trained to be fast. Because when you trade for clients, you have to be first. When you trade in retail, you don't have to be first. Very important rule. Hmm. There we go. There. See, there's your look below and fail. Let's see if it can hold. No, not just yet. Right. First green candle always sucks in a lot of people, myself included. I am not I am not immune to that, right? Right. I always get in. That's my thing with I've because I've always been trained to be fast, right? Don't let anybody out trade you. Don't let anybody take the bid before. Otherwise, your client's going to fire you, right? You miss a sell order, they're out 200 grand, 100 grand, $1 million. You're gone, right? But in retail, it makes much more sense just to sit back and let everybody else go first. That way, you can see if they get shot. Yeah, I saw it. Thing about Meta though, Raj, it trades what 4 million shares a day. They'll clean that up quick, right? Meta is a very thinly traded stock, right? So we've got sellers at 24 again. Let's see. We'll try one at 23 and a half. And I'll put a sell order at 24 and 3/4. No, not quite ready yet. Might have to scratch this. Yeah, there's a seller right where I got long. Not a good sign. Well, let's see if it lifts. There we go. I'm out. uh, so we'll take that again. Let's see if it holds 23 and a quarter. Right. There we go. All right. 24 this time. I'm over trading, but I'm just trading one micro just to test this order flow. I'm flat. Yeah, it took me out. I had my stop under that candle here. Kind of choppy around this area. Huh. Let's see if it can hold 21, 20 and a half, sorry. Nope, taking the lower stops. Aggressive seller. Oh, is that what it is? Meta's not finding success in AI? I don't know. I bought my girlfriend one of those Oculus VR headsets. I don't know. I didn't really. Kind of made me a little dizzy. I don't know if the VR thing is all it's cracked up to be just yet. Yeah, good thing I scratched that. All right, let's see if we can hold the close. Better to be wrong early, take your lumps and get out. Like I was long 24 on that last trade, and as soon as it got under 23 and a quarter, I knew my goose is cooked, and I was out at 23. The recent glasses were a major flop. Do you take any measures to protect your eyes? No. I didn't even know what are the measures to protect your eyes. My girlfriend has those blue light blocker glasses. I don't know what she looks like a bug when she wears them. I always laugh. Is that what you mean? I don't know. Do those things work? Because she buys every gadget there's out there. I have no idea, Mother Truck. But my girlfriend, she's a doctor, so she buys every single little gadget, healthcare gadget that comes out. It's hilarious. All right, what's next? Down to the close. Under the close. Next stop is down at 11 and a half. So this is the middle of our balance zone. That was a nice look above and fail. I completely missed it. I hope somebody got short at 23.24. I mean, sorry, 22.23. Down to 17. Let's see if it holds the middle of the balance zone. There we go. Let's see, 18 to 21. There'll be a seller here. Yeah, there they are, right there. So when you get to be a quick trader, you can use the middle of a balance. There was a look below and fail. You can buy 18, put your stop under that candle, and then sell it into strength. These are small scalps, but practicing stuff like that will help you get your speed up. You need to, especially, I'm telling you, I think the next couple of months, November, December, I think will favor faster traders. I think learning quick execution is going to be a thing. I think there will be more volatility. I hope there is. I was hoping for a little faster market after Labor Day, but man, it was brutal. There we go. So this time I bought 18, selling 20, right? 2 points in and out. I'm very happy to make 2 points. Most people are not, but if you take 2 points on three contracts, it adds up. Just get paid, folks. Don't care what other people say. Don't worry about what people say in a trading room or anything about, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Make sure you sell, right? Make sure you're a seller. You know, get paid. You want to get paid for your efforts, right? Now we got a bit of a rotation here. 21 and a half, maybe down to 18 again, 17. But don't you find it helpful where you map out where the sellers are going to be, where you think they're going to stop selling, right? You know, I think it is. Then you can manage your expectations when you're trading. So you're not, you know, if the market gives you 2 points, you take 2 points and say thank you, right? Instead of trying to get 30 and then getting stopped out. A little rotation here. 18 to 21. Yep, coming back down to 18. Yeah, and what we do at the Trading Syndicate, my big thing to folks who are watching who aren't in our room, is we want to get you paid, right? The reason most retail traders don't do well is number one, they have bad information, right? So they have no idea what they're doing, right? They're trading at the wrong time. They have no idea about risk. They don't know when not to stay out of the market. And the other thing is they're used to losing. So what we try and do is we try and get you to make $50 to $100 a day consistently. That way you get used to getting paid. And I tell you, when human beings get used to getting paid, they don't like having their income cut. So if you're used to getting paid, you're not going to you're not going to do stupid things, right? To jeopardize your paycheck. Just like, if you're working at a place, you're not going to go to the bathroom on your boss's desk. That might get you fired. So why would you go to the bathroom on your account? Right? Makes sense, right? So once you're used to getting paid, you're not going to do anything stupid to jeopardize that money. But when you're not used to getting paid and you just show up someplace every day and lose money, there's no expectation of profit, right? Only might get you fired, right? You know, if you're used to getting paid, you're not going to screw that up. If you're used to losing money every day, it's going to become a habit. And that's the problem with trading, right? Is people get used to like, oh, I blew up an account and I blew up an account and now I need a trading psychologist. No, you don't need a trading psychologist. You need a good kick in the ass because you're acting like an idiot, right? There's no amount of psychology that's going to make up for common sense, right? And knowledge of the business, right? If I was a dentist and I had never gone to dental school and I go and start pulling out Raj's teeth and he has a heart attack, I'm not going to go to a trading psychologist. I'm going to go to jail, right? There has to be some common sense in business, right? You just can't walk into an operating theater and say, I watched a YouTube video. I'd like to do open heart surgery, right? Get Learn how to make some money and learn how to keep it. You know, once you get used to making money, you're not going to want to screw it up, right? Get used to it. Get used to getting paid. Even if it's $10 a day that you can pull out of this crazy business, you're doing better than 90% of the traders out there who are talking crap, right? Yesterday, for example, we had a lab where we discussed our trades. 35 people showed up to it. Only 3 people were willing to discuss their trades. How many people are really serious about it? And how many people are doing this as weekend warriors, right? Looking for 23. No, Zoom screwed up the replay. Or I screwed it up. It didn't record. I thought it was recording, but it didn't record. And you know what? Guess what, Malta? Only 2 people asked me for the recording. You and Jury. Nobody else asked me about the recording. So obviously they weren't that interested in it. It's interesting. It's interesting, right? We'll do another one. They're trading. They're not learning about trading. Exactly. Yeah, I understand that. But well, you have to go pick up the kids and stuff, so I understand. It's a little later, but that's okay. We do that one-on-one anyway, right? Okay. Well, anybody have any questions? Just find a nice rotation today, folks, and just trade that. You're going to have some decent trading through the session. Just wait and pick your spots. And all should be well. Yeah, it's. Are you in Australia or? Yeah. Can I explain yesterday's profile? What do you mean, Warren? What do you need help with? I'd be happy to. What part of it are you? No, no, I know yesterday's RTH. What part of it do you would you want me to explain? Like, what are you having trouble with? What part of it? Well, we did a look below and fail, right, of the previous day's low, and that brought in short covering. So we ended up closing. We had a big push in end period because of earnings, right? End period, which is after the close, had a huge range, right? Because of the Fed and earnings and stuff like that. But if you get specific, Worm, you know what, Worm? Why don't you DM me and like write out a question, like write out the question in full, like what, and I'll be happy to answer it. When you guys ask questions, try and be a bit more specific in what you're asking, and I'd love to. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. You can put it in the room, Malta, if you want. Got a couple of minutes left. So let me see. So, for example, here, right? This is a look below and fail. So here you take it, you use this level. Always use this level as a stop. Here, if you want to, you can use that as a stop, right? Now, what's the next? Yeah, there's your stop right here, right? There's the look below and fail. So you're long, stop, put your sell orders out. Pretty simple. You just need more repetition. That's all. They're always tricky, Malta. They're always tricky, right? You got to do that trade 1,000 times. Just like Michael Jordan did the 1,000 free throws. The more experience you get, at first it's going to be very difficult and really like, like you're fumbling around in the dark. But after a while, right? After experiencing it over and over and over again, it's going to be it's going to get much better for you. Trust me, I know because I've screwed those trades up so many times before I got good at it. It is a skill thing, right? It's like learning how to do a wheelie on a motorcycle. If I were you, go on the sim and try it as many times as possible so you get a big sample size. But don't do it blindly. Take the trade and then analyze it. Then take it again and analyze it. Try and give yourself, when you're starting out, try and give yourself time between trades to think about it. Just don't take the trade and take the trade and take the trade and take the trade. Because that way there's no reflection on the trade. But do it as many times as you can using the sim, right? No, 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 no. You don't use wider stops. You need to learn how to do the trade, right? In this case, don't worry about this particular case because you're going to have thousands of these trades and you're going to piece together information from every single one. Just keep at it. You'll get better. And we're done for the night. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Morning, I should say. Have a great morning. Thanks for joining us. Those of you who aren't in the trading room, please join us at thetradingsyndicate.org. For less than a cup of coffee a day, I'll get you profitable if you just, all you got to do is follow directions. Thanks, everyone. And anyone interested in lifetime mentorship, please reach out. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you at 9 a.m. Bye for now.